Hello, Rico Derricks here for Master the Score. This lesson is coming from my new course called the Virtual Orchestra. If you enjoyed this video, please check out the link in the description, and it would really help if you leave a like, comment and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. So what is negative delay exactly, and why could this be helpful to implement into your workflow? So imagine if you have a clap, and I clap my hands. You have a very clear transient happening. But for a brass player or a string player, it takes a little bit more time to generate that sound and to make a transient. So even if you have a spiccato, it's a little bit like a whum. So the bow reaches for the strings and it just takes a little bit before that string resonates enough to make that short note. So you do not want to cut it off, otherwise it sounds very synthetic. So that little bit of pre-ring, let's call it like that, is very important to be part of that short note. But the problem is, that's literally the start of your note. So when you make a short note in the DAW, you press a key, but the transient of that sample of the string is actually always a tiny bit later. So this is in pretty much all of our samples, and even more in legato transitions. So negative delay compensates for that to make that short note sound in time on your grid. Then negative delay is often different per library that you have. It could be even different per instrument group. So strings have different negative delay than, for example, brass or woodwinds, and even different per articulation. So a slow legato transition, of course, means a different negative delay setting than a fast legato transition or a bow change legato or whatever it is. So the best method for me is either use the manual. If it's specified over there, that's a very good starting point. But even better, I think, is simply use your ears and tweak some of those settings until it sounds even better. So let's hop inside of Cubase for more explanation. Over here, you can see two pieces of little short snippets of music. The first one is a legato piece. The second one is a short note piece. And let's actually start with the short notes, because it's very clear what's happening over here. Okay, so as you can hear, everything sounds a little bit behind the grid, and this is very, very annoying actually when you want to include hard quantized percussion, specifically when it's like wood blocks or transient heavy stuff, because that will all sound perfectly in time, while those strings that simply take a little bit longer to generate that transient sound all a little bit too late. Woodwinds sound too late. Brass will also sound too late. So to counter for that, again, we have negative delay, and the manual specifies very often what that amount could be. And apparently for the short notes in CSS series, it's around minus 60 milliseconds. So over here, you can see that this is the negative delay menu, and it's saying track delay in milliseconds. So if I use a plus value, so say 60, these tracks are played 60 milliseconds later, so even more out of sync. So what we're going to do is very simple. We're going to press a minus in front of it, hit enter. So now I'm using minus 60 milliseconds negative delay for that first track, and I need to do the exact same amount for everything else. So it took a little bit of time to set that up again. And the thing is, this is super convenient to do in a template, because you can do this once, save it, forget about it. So let me play it now. All perfectly in time. So to round that up, negative delay is a method to play the samples sooner than they actually are programmed. So the notes inside of a MIDI lane, like here, aren't really shifted forwards. You won't see any effect whatsoever. It's just the DAW knowing that it will play this specific track 60 milliseconds sooner. So that's really, really helpful. That's it for today. I hope you liked the lesson, and please leave us a like, comment and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it.